Greetings y'all, it's your boy Cholo aka Spooky TCG, and for today's quick battle video, we are going to take a look on the two anti-meta decks, or the top anti-meta decks I should say, Belo, Betty, and Rob Lucci. So how are they anti-meta decks? So Belo, Betty against UP Luffy swarm decks like Zoro are good against UP Luffy, pressuring them because they're at 3 life. Meanwhile, Rob Lucci being an anti-meta deck against those swarm decks, playing against who want to swarm out and try to control the board. So for those of you though who don't know what Rob Lucci does, Rob Lucci, the OPO7 version, when attacking, you may trash the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you can give a -1 cost to your opponent's characters for the turn. So we have Belo Betty going first, that's the curve, but did not get the first turn searcher, but does play it on the second dawn turn. He gets to look at the top 5 and gets an Imparia Vankov, still great, and can swing in for 7 here, and does. So we've seen a resurgence in Rob Lucci, even though Rob Lucci got 2 cards banned or was added out from the deck, which was the 8 cost Gecko Moira and Ice Age, the 1 cost event that gives -4 cost to an opponent's character, which is a really, it stings and it hurts the deck, but it really didn't affect it as much, I would say. But it's still, the deck still misses Gecko Moira. But the deck that really misses Gecko Moira the most would be BY Luffy, Gecko Moira itself, and of course, what do you call that deck? Black Purple Luffy. Yeah, those decks were really reliant on Gecko Moira, especially BY Luffy, and you can alter out those kids like the babies, which was the Ace, Baby Luffy, and Sabo. So here we just see the display on how Rob Lucci controls the board, swings in, gives the -1 cost, and plays the Brook to KO out that searcher. So on play here gives -3000 to Brook, but doesn't really matter. Can't really do anything to it, can swing. But Belo Betty here will attack for 5, and Rob Lucci ends up taking it. Looks like the 5 cost Ivankov, the on play, gets to look at the top 3 and play a 5 cost body of a Revolutionary Army Whiff. That's why only Koala, they only got to play Koala. You would like to see there Caruso, or even the 4 cost Ivankov would be nice. But yeah, unfortunate. So Rob Lucci here, paying 4 Dawn, plays the 4 cost Kuzan, which is a really great card. On play, you get to draw 1 card, and then when attacking, you can give up to one of your opponent's characters -4. So can really, in this turn, swing in for, or next turn rather, Rob Lucci swings for 5, gives a -1, and then swing in for Kuzan, total of -5. And then you can swing in with the Brook, that gives a -1 cost as well. That's total of 6, and just can KO a 0 cost. Really amazing. Plays the one-legged soldier, the toy soldier, and activates main, gives -3 cost, and gives it -4, a total of -4 because of the Rob Lucci attack. Swings into Belo Betty here for 5. This Ivankov is just gonna dive because when the Brook swings, even though it's a 4K, it won't reach the leader, but the attacking trigger will give it a -1000. A -1 cost rather, sorry, and just KO a 0 cost character. And Belo Betty takes here down to 2 life, no trigger, and there you go. Gives a -1 cost and then gets to KO a 0 cost character. So this is the 7 cost 7 Dawn turn by the Belo player here. Let's see how can she develop a board or how she'll try to swarm out. The only problem that I see with Rob Lucci is, aside from Jack or aside from Kaido, those are some of the big bodies that Rob Lucci has. Kaido, Jack, and even Kuzan's. The 10 cost Kuzan, the secret one, is back. People are opting to play it again. Belo here plays the 4 cost Ivankov. We haven't seen a leader activation ability yet, and does here, so gives plus 3000 to both of those two characters. Are Revolutionary Army, which activates the Ivankov when it's 7k or more. You get to play a 5 cost or a 5000 power for free, which plays down the Caruso on play. It gives minus 1000 to a character or leader, which does give minus 1000 to Rob Lucci, making it a 4k body. But Belo here just only has 2 attacks. Plays for 2 more. Plays the Koala on play, gives minus 3000 to Brooke, swings in for 5. And then that's a 7k, swinging it to Rob Lucci. And Rob Lucci will take here, going down to 2 life. As I was saying, Rob Lucci has the only problem I see with Rob Lucci is it has trouble swinging tall, since you're not really running a lot of big bodies aside from the 10 cost Kuzans, aside from Jack, or aside from Kaido itself. You're very limited to what big bodies that you can run because you're really focused on trying to clear out the board of your opponent and just try to chip in for damage. The Gecko Moira ban did affect this deck, since you cannot pull off the combo anymore of just playing a Rebecca. So you get Gecko Moira on play, get Rebecca, and then Rebecca trigger. You get to put 3 or get a card, 3 or 7 cost character from your trash, put it to your hand, and then you get to play a 3 or less character rested. You put it into field, so you can't combo off like that. Meanwhile, Belo is struggling in trying to defend its field or its pieces, like its characters, because they are susceptible to removal. So Kuzan here, when attacking trigger, gives minus 4 cost to a character, which gives minus 4 to Ivankov, leaving it at 0. Kuzan here swings at the the Koala, so that's a 5k to 3k. So Rob Lucci, you're just really controlling the board as much as possible, not allowing any breathing room for the Belo player. Plays out the Rebecca on play ability. You get to return a 7 or 3 cost character, 7 to 3 cost character to your hand, and then you get to play that character or any 3 cost character or below from the field from your hand, and then put it to field rested. So on play, we'll return the Khalifa. I haven't seen Khalifa in a while. I know Khalifa is the cycler of the deck. You get to draw with her, and is also a 2k body if I'm not mistaken. His options are the Khalifa or is the Brook. He does grab the Khalifa rather, and plays with the ability of Rebecca, plays the Suru. Ooh, I think I know what's coming. This is gonna be a 4 cost. Rob Lucci gets to KO 2 bodies at once. Yes, it does. So for the Rob Lucci SR on play, you may place 3 cards from your trash on the bottom of your deck, and you get to KO 2 characters that are 1 cost and 2 cost or less. Which he does here. He gets to kill the Caruso and kills the Ivankov. Wow. How fast the Belo developed the board, and how fast that she also lost it because of the Rob Lucci. Swings in for 5. An attacking trigger can give another -1 cost. So probably gives the -1 cost to the Koala, but doesn't matter. Just fills the trash yard with more cards. Takes the hit and gets a trigger here. Gets 1 trigger, gets a Satori, but he does need to discard a card to get this body on board, which he does. Right, 9 Dawn turn for the Belo player here. Let's see how he can get out of this one or develop a board that is threatening. I see in his hand he has a Ivankov, the 4 cost again, and a Caruso. Maybe he'll start with that. It's 4 Dawn for 2 characters. Wow. 4 Dawn and 1 card to discard for 2 characters. That's pretty good. And does play the Ivankov here. Activates the leader ability. Gives plus 3000 to the Koala and to the Ivankov as well. And plays out the Caruso. Caruso on play gives a -1000 to the Kuzan. Okay, so he realizes he needs to get rid of that Kuzan, so he can't just give a -4 cost to any character. We'll swing in for 6. 5 Dawn open for the Belo player here. He can swing 3 times here. Let's see. A 6k to a 4k, that's 3k counter. Does counter out, gives the Khalifa and gives a 1k counter. Another 6k to 7, uses the Rebecca blocker, and a 5k to 4k. And plays the Sanji blocker here for 4. Trying to develop that board and hope that he can swarm out the Rob Lucci. So if you guys like watch the anime, if you guys just play the card game itself, so if I'm not mistaken, the anime right now is taking place in Egghead Island, and we can see the return of Rob Lucci with Stussy and Kaku. Yeah, that's the guys that are in the background of Rob Lucci's character. His fight with Gear 5 Luffy was just epic, you know. The animation was so fun, it was so good and fluid. You know, Oda has a good style of animating his characters, of making it a little bit cartoonish, but it was a good battle, you know. Rob Lucci got smacked. And this is the 10 cost, or rather 10 Dawn turn for our Rob Lucci player here. Let's see how he will try to clear out the board of this Belo Has a lot of cards in hand and has a lot of options that he can go with, but I think the best thing that he can try to clear out is that blocker and that Caruso, because the Belo here is down to 1 card in hand. So let's see here how he can deal with it and try to clear out this board. Because if Belo does get to untap here, or gets to refresh with at least 4 characters in play, this is gonna be a hard game for Rob Lucci and could potentially be threatening for a win, or go for lethal at least. Taking his time here, Rob Lucci player trying to assess what he can do and try to take out first. that Caruso really has to go because of that once per turn or active main when it's 7,000 power or more gives to give a minus 1,000 to a character leader. Will swing, attack to the koala 5 to a 3k, gets the when attacking trigger, gives the minus 1 cost. To which character will he give it to? Does give it to the Caruso, making it a 3 cost. And koala is down. I think I see a Tempest Kick in hand. 7 cards still for our Lucci player. I think yeah, he will play out the Tempest Kick, which he does. Gives a minus 3 cost to the Sanji blocker, leaving it at 1 cost. And he gets to draw a card here if he has 10 or more cards in his trash. So it gives the minus 3 to the Sanji blocker, leaving it down to 1. If he had the Kuzan, you know, if he still had the Kuzan here, give a minus 4 to the Caruso and just play another Rob Lucci for cost. You know, Kuzan is one of my favorite characters in the anime because he's just so cool, you know. His Devil Fruit power is just being ice and he's very chill. Plays the Rebecca here. Gets to get 1 card again from the trash, put it into his hand, and get to play another card from his hand into the field, 3 or less, and does get the Brook and play it as well. The on play will give a minus 1 cost to Caruso, I assume. Yep, it will. Yep, there it is. Gives a minus 1 cost. Oh, did he give minus 1 to the Caruso instead? I mean to the Sanji instead and KOing it? Nope, he gave it to the Caruso. So Sanji would be not KO'd yet because it's still at 1. Yeah, since Brook can only KO a zero cost character, yeah, he didn't get to KO the Sanji. And gets to play another Rob Lucci here. Gets rid of both the Caruso and the Sanji blocker. Gets to KO them both. Wow. Just like that. Clear board. And swings in for 7 to the Satori. And which is down to none. Belo Betty here not in a great spot. 2 cards in hand, 1 life. And only 1 character being Ivankov as well. Great combination done here by the Rob Lucci player, reducing the cost and just getting back, playing that Rebecca, getting back the Brook to give it a minus 1,000, making sure when the Rob Lucci enters or gets the on play trigger, gets to at least KO 2 characters. Belo Betty just really having a hard time in this matchup. Her board, or the board state for the Belo Betty player here, just getting cleared out. That's 5 cards in hand for the Rob Lucci player, I think. Yep, 5 cards. I think one of the cards is a proxy, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the Sabo blocker. Swings in for 10 to the Rob Lucci. That's rested. Can use a blocker. Yep, does use a blocker. Swings another 10 to the Rob Lucci. Ooh, not really looking great here for the Belo Betty player. Goes to 6 cards in hand. 10 done. Swings in for 7, attaches 3, 7 to face or 7 to leader. Does take it. Gets a trigger though. That's a Sanji blocker, but still 2 attacks for our Rob Lucci player. And only 1 card in hand. So it's all about Dawn management here. Swings in for 9. Yeah, I think that will be game. Gives the blocker. Swings in for another 9. And just having a 2k counter in hand for our Belo player. Not really the best. But there you go. The winner of this video or quick battle video is the Rob Lucci player. That's the video, guys. Please leave a like, subscribe, and peace out.